Alright, for this video, I'm going to be talking about why I like Black Clover more than My Hero Academia. So, for my first reason, the My Hero Academia universe, you were not able to use your quirk anywhere besides going out and being a hero. You're not allowed to use it to help people, you're not allowed to use it to save people, you're not allowed to, like, let's say, what they did in Stain, right? It's technically illegal to use your quirk outside of just being a cop and everything, or being a superhero. You can't even use it when you're a cop. So, so for my hero, you're not allowed to use it at all outside of being a hero. And in Black Clover, you're able to use your magic whenever. Magic is very important for Black Clover. Magic is everything. They use it to get around places like brooms. They can use it like portals and everything. Asta uses it for can't even use a broom without some like Magno, Finral, or Noel to use their brooms or portals, right? So Asta is completely useless and helpless in his own universe. There's no way for him to be able to go out places except for running, which would take like 2 weeks just to get from Han to the capital, right? So without any kind of magic, he can't even go places. He can't go anywhere. Like in My Hero Academia, you have buses and everywhere. You see Ida going on a bus because he can't use his quirk, right? So magic's everything in Black Clover. Asta doesn't have anything else to do really without his magic. Like if he had no magic swords, he couldn't do anything at all. Well, someone like Deku could be a cop or whatever. He can actually do something. There's a news place. He has jobs just like in our universe. He could go be a painter. He could be a news recorder. He could be a cop, whatever. Wasta doesn't really have anything. He's the second most physically strongest in the universe, says by author, right? So he actually has stuff to do. Like he doesn't have anything to do outside of maybe like like helping like a farmer or whatever. But even though you see in the first episode where they use water and use their magic to crop the field plowed on it. And for my second reason, it's like the Black Clover fights are a lot more tactical than, let's say, My Hero Academia. Because most of the time, My Hero Academia is just focused on just brute force. Like, the only reason why Todoroki beat Deku in the tournament are because he had fire and ice to beat him. And Deku wasn't trying until he had full power. And why Bakugo won. Because he was only using ice and not fire. The only one who actually uses actual brain power and tactics is Manetta. Like, Manetta is the only character that I'm excited to see his fights, because he's, like, Tormark, he had this whole plan with, since he's so small, he can have Froppy and, what's his name, Shoja or whatever, with the army dude, they can be like a cocoon, and Asu, or whatever her name, Froppy, can just use her tongue and get the points for him. See, I like Mineta because he's actually smart. Like even like versus Midnight, he had to think of the plan. Like use his great power, right? His ball's sticky, and then like during the arc where they just came in and they were testing out everyone's powers and everything. Like where like go fast as the way you go. Like Manata used a bunch of clump of balls to go super fast, pretty much, because since his balls make him bounce and everything. And like in the Black Clover universe, even someone who's not good at fighting, like Finral, can use his powers to fight someone like Veto, with Asta and Vanessa helping him by pulling him out of the strings and everything. So they are able to do stuff outside of brute force. And like the tournament arc for Black Clover, they had to be their teams of three, and they had to plan out plans to actually fight. They can't just go off willy nilly. Well, you see, like Zora was planning ahead and planted traps all over the field, so he was able to outsmart his opponents. So that's my second reason. For my third reason is the characters in My Hero Academia is very confusing with having multiple names like Deku, Izuka, Midoriya, etc. It would be fine with just Deku, but all of them has hero names, and then some people are just calling them by quirks and everything. Like you have their full name, middle name, or hero name, last name, first name. It's too confusing to remember all of them. And then the My Hero Academia characters are also not very fleshed out. Like you have someone like the Sugar Dude, or Koda, or whatever his name is, the one who speaks to animals. They aren't fleshed out well. They aren't developed very well. And then the My Hero Academia, every arc they put out way too many characters. One arc you have 10 new characters. You have more 10 new characters. They just keep adding and adding, and then the 1A characters don't have much of impact, like Sugar Dude or the Tail Guy or whatever. It's hard to remember their names and everything. Like they don't put much of an impact. Like since My Hero Academia has such a huge cast and has 28 characters running around every single arc, unlike the Black Clover universe, there's different guilds. They have like 10 people in the Black Bulls. They go on separate missions. You have them Asta, Noel, and Magna to go in one mission, while in the whole arc, the whole 1A cast is in there. Or there's class 1B. They ruin the whole thing because you don't have enough. You don't have enough time to get to know all the characters without multiple run-throughs. There's no way to get them to know everyone's name first going because they don't give much of an impact. So for Black Clover, they go on free people on a mission. So like let's say Noel, Awesome, and Luck. During the dungeon arc, we were able to know a lot about Luck. Every arc we know around different people. Magna, Noel, Asta, Luck, Finral, Vanessa, etc., etc. You get to know the characters every now and then because they show up in groups. They only go in free instead of 30 people or 60 people, depending on how many people there are. And then you also have to worry about multiple villains, etc. Like, who even remembers most of the ones in the first arc or the training arc in Woods where what's their name? The villains of My Hero Academia showed up. And in Black Clover you have the Ivan Midnight Sun. Only you have 4 major bad guys. Right? You have Beto, you have what's her name? The salamander girl, you have I forget their names. You have late lighter. What is it? He's the elf dude. You have they're all elves, but they have they have 4 people which you can easily focus on, and then you know their separate backstory, and then you learn about them more. And then there's also the elves. They're the elves, right? The reason why they have a reason to be bad. Like for example, like the whole elf just died because the whole human race started attacking them, right? So, and then in My Hero Academia, there's some villains that just seem like villains just to be bad. Like there's some of them don't even have a purpose to being bad guys. Only like a few selected ones. Like let's say the muscular guy who killed Koda's or not Cody's parents, I think. The little kid in the forest training arc. He was bad just to be bad. He didn't have a motivation or whatever. He didn't have any kind of reason to be bad. He was just bad. Well, in Black Clover, the reason why the elves were attacking humans was because the humans were killed off most of their race, other than one person, pretty much. So both of the sides, the elves and the humans, weren't wrong. Because you have the one side that the elves were bad, was mad that the humans killed them all. While on many centuries ago, while the humans now was fighting because they weren't the ones who actually did it. It was their ancestors many years ago. So both of them were in the right and the wrong here. None of them were none of them were wrong in a way. Well, you have Black Clo well, in My Hero Academia, this is why. Like all for one or all for no. One for yeah, all for one. He's just bad to be bad. He doesn't really have a reason to be bad, really. Of course, they can give him motivation later on, but right now, as I speak, there's not. They don't really show a reason to be bad. Thank you for watching, and like, subscribe, everything, blah 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 blah.